And the Resolve Problems segment tonight, sanctuary cities, after President Trump signed an executive order this week threatening to defund the sanctuary cities. The mayor of Miami-Dade says his jails will now comply with all federal detainer requests. Now, before, the county would only hold illegal immigrants indefinitely if the feds first agreed to reimburse its costs. It's an early victory for President Trump, but will more sanctuary cities follow suit? Joining us now with reaction from Chicago, Steve Cortes, a Fox News contributor and a former advisor to the Trump campaign, and from San Diego, Enrique Morones, founder and director of Border Angels, an immigration advocacy group. Enrique, let's start with you. The mayor of Miami-Dade said, you know what, I'm going to abide by federal law, and he's no longer going to be a sanctuary status for illegals caught there. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, they're undocumented people. As you know, we don't call them illegals. These are human beings, and sanctuary cities have been around since biblical times, trying to help the people that are being persecuted, people that are, the Jewish times, the Nazis, etc. So there's always been an underground railroad, a way to help the people that need some sort of sanctuary. And the fact that most major cities that have sanctuary cities, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, are planning to continue to have the sanctuary city status.
Enrique, I understand that, but weigh in on what Miami, the initiative Miami has taken.
Yeah, that's one person. The majority aren't doing that. And the fact that the mayor of Miami wants to do it, Miami-Dade, that's his prerogative. We'll see what happens. We don't know exactly what the federal funding that's going to be withheld is, because like a lot of things that Donald Trump says, it's not very clear. He hasn't thought it through. He's a person that's been inconsistent with his messages, and the fact that he wants to do away with the sanctuary cities by withholding federal funding. What does that mean? Is he going to do away with the fire department funding, the police funding?
Well, there are many forms of funding that the feds can withhold to a municipality, a state, or a city. Steve Cortes, as Enrique points out that Donald Trump's been inconsistent. Has he, in fact, been inconsistent?
No, he's been remarkably consistent, and I will tell you this, as a Latino and as the son of an immigrant, I do say illegal immigrant. They're not undocumented. That makes it sound like there's some paperwork that's out of order. If you break into my home at night, you're not an undocumented visitor, you're a thief, you're a burglar. So I think that it matters the terms we use. We have to speak in plain English, and we have to be honest about the situation. When it comes to sanctuary cities, by the way, the people who suffer the most, ironically, are Latinos, because largely these people who are hiding in plain sight, these criminals who are hiding in plain sight, are terrorizing Latino communities. So President Trump, thank goodness, is going to bring sanity back to this country. We know that there are people who are not supposed to be here in the first place, and then on top of that, are committing crimes and are dangerous to this country. They need to be gone yesterday.
Enrique, so you're the mayor. Let's say you're role play here a little bit. You're the mayor of San Diego, where you're coming from right now. Your city needs money. Your city needs money for cops, for border security. And the feds say, hey, listen, either you start turning over illegals, or guess what? We're going to hold back some of that money. You're going to say, no, thank you. We're going to stay broke.
Once again, these are undocumented people. There's been hate words in the past, 3/5 of a human being, WAPs. This terminology later changed. The same thing's going to happen here. In San Diego, we have a sanctuary city and national city because they know that reaching out and working with the Latino community or the undocumented community, of which a lot is not Latino, is good for the city. You want to have that cooperation between law enforcement and the community, whether they're documented or not. This is something that we've seen across the country and all over the world. And Donald Trump has been very inconsistent. So taking his word is not something that's consistent. He's consistently inconsistent. So the sanctuary city is one of these many things that's going to be debated. As you know, President
Enrique, you've been on this show before. I think there's been consistency from the Trump administration. There's been certainly consistency from this seat right here. Mr. Bill O'Reilly is vehemently against any sanctuary cities. Steve, let's go to you on this. New York gets around $700 million in federal funding that could be, emphasis, earmarked under this sanctuary city policy. This is per Reuters. I just make this number up out of my head. It's per Reuters. $700 million in New York, $400 million in L.A., 40 or 50 million in San Francisco. Will these mayors start to turn and say, you know what, maybe I need those funds. I will no longer be sanctuary?
Eric, I think they're going to have to, and particularly my hometown where I am right now, Chicago. This city is broke, largely due to terrible blue state policies, and we cannot afford at all as a city to forego federal funds for some sort of a liberal. And by the way, let's talk about sanctuary. I even hate the term sanctuary city. Sanctuary for whom? It's not sanctuary for the victims of crimes. It certainly wasn't sanctuary for Kate Steinle, who was murdered in cold blood in San Francisco because the San Francisco police released a known, dangerous, illegal criminal out onto the streets instead of to the deportation force of ICE, as was requested and is required by federal law. They released him out of the streets, and less than 3 months later, he killed her in cold blood for no reason. A beautiful, young, innocent American who is the victim of liberal politics. We simply can't have any more of that, and we certainly can't afford it either. You're right.
And the debate will continue. The debate has certainly heated up. Enrique, Steve, thank you so much.